Thank you for joining today's webinar session, How to Manage Corrective Actions in Steel Construction Industry. My name is Kevin Devecioglu. I am with Bimser International Corporation. We are based in New York. Today we'll be talking about how one can manage corrective actions in a digital environment without using paper. Before we get started, would you please mute your microphones so that we can have a nice and quiet webinar experience altogether? I'll appreciate it. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please type in the chat box. We have a Q&A session at the end of our demonstration and presentation, and we'll be addressing your questions available in the chat box. Thank you very much. Okay, great. So I think we can get started. Before we jump into the details, I'd like to mention that we have a YouTube channel. When you type Bimser International in YouTube search box, you'll find the channel, and you'll also find the playlist. We have regular webinars, for example, quality management, asset management, maintenance management are our expertise areas. So when we have a webinar, we basically record the session and we post it on our YouTube channel. So if you'd like to take a look at other quality management recordings that we have in place, you are welcome to visit our YouTube channel. Also, in coming weeks, I'd like to mention that we'll be having more quality management related webinars about customer complaint management, calibration management, training management, and so on. So more is coming up, and we basically announce these webinars on our Eventbrite page. So we invite you to our Eventbrite page, and please register our coming webinar sessions so that we can continue the conversation of quality management in a digital environment. Today we have a panel. As I mentioned, my name is Kevin Devecioglu, as Managing Director of the company. With me also there is Sam Watt and Furkan Bas with us as my team members in the panel. And we'll be talking about how one can actually manage corrective actions digitally in this digital age, so that no need to use paper, and we can be basically as proactive as we can in this competitive marketplace. This is basically our goal. Also, after my presentation, we'll also show you in a digital environment how we can actually manage the operations on a software called QDMS, our creation basically, and we'll also address your questions as well. So before I jump into the corrective action fundamentals and about AISC compliance requirements, I'd like to introduce ourselves first of all, who we are and what we do. We are an enterprise software maker since 1998, and we are based in New York. In essence, we help companies simplify their processes and help them adopt digital transformation. We are very active in various business communities. AISC is one of them, American Society for Quality. As quality management digitally is one of our expertise, it is important for us to be updated and follow up developments. That's why we are a part of AISQ, and we are an active member. Also, we are also in different communities. For example, manufacturing and construction in Northeast area is also another field that we are very active in. We have a internship program called University of Bimser International. We help university students how to do pre-sales and how to improve their engineering skills. As a company, we have global presence. We are based in New York, and we also have presence in Europe as well. So in total, we are about 200 people. We are a growing organization. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development is one of our investors. So we have more visibility in international markets. Today, we'll be, of course, talking about quality management systems. Speaking of that, we are also ISO 9001 certified, also ISO 271 certified. So we have a quality management system in place. We have policies, procedures, and standards for us to follow to make sure we always deliver the best software product at each project. Since 1998, we focus on these 4 products. EBA is our workflow and also document management system. We have BEAM as our asset maintenance and energy management software. And we have QDMS for quality, risk, audit, and compliance management. We'll talk more about QDMS today. And finally, we have Ensemble as our business process management software. It is important to mention that we have the latest technology. Our systems work on cloud as well as on-premise servers, and we have mobile apps available. As you see on the screen, we have been developing and deploying our systems to many different companies. Construction is one of them, and there are many other industries, of course. As for quality management system, we have more than 1,000 customers and more than 1 million users for our solution called QDMS, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system. So we have seen a lot, we have learned a lot, and we are still learning in quality management. And right now, with webinar sessions that we regularly organize, we like to share our expertise with our customers, communities, and business groups, basically. Some of our references, for example, we work with many different companies. Some of them are reputable companies that put together here, very well-known brands. We work with 3M, Bridgestone, Ford, for example. We also work with Renault-Nissan Alliance. We work with Unilever. United Nations is one of our customers, for example. And there are many other organizations in different industries that we are working with. So, in a nutshell, that's who we are and what we do. Let's talk about digital transformation of quality management. So when we say digital transformation, we are referring to actually for a company to organize a strategy and culture to help them benefit from the technological opportunities. That is actually what digital transformation is. And quality is basically what the customer is expecting and how you are actually conform to those expectations, to those requirements. So we combine these two, and we help companies basically adopt digital transformation in the scope of quality management. There are, of course, many different standards in the marketplace. Today, we'll be talking about more on the construction industry, of course. So there are standards, for example, AISC is one of them. Many companies that we see in construction industry comply with ISO 9001. Some of them, they comply with ISO 17025 for calibration management. There are many other standards. There are many other actually. So these are just some of them that I pick and choose. We are very active in many different industries. That's why I have a long list. But again, today we'll focus more on the construction industry. We'll keep the language and the focus and priority in the construction industry, steel construction industry to be more precise. So why do we comply with all these quality management systems as companies? So first of all, our customers are requiring it for us to sell any of our products. If we are fabricating steel, if we are supplying construction companies, they require us to have these certifications. Our competitors are getting these certifications as well, so we cannot fall behind. Also, requirements may be coming from local, state, or federal authorities. That may also be another reason. And most of all, of course, all these quality management systems are designed to help you to grow your company and become successful. So when we look at the fundamentals of quality management system, and especially AISC compliance requirements, I also put the source on the screen. AISC, American Institute of Steel Construction, is actually offering a website, has a lot of information for any visitor. So when you look at their actual guidelines for compliance and for certification purposes, they are actually talking about quality management system and safety management system to be able to actually apply for certification and to be awarded for certification. So quality management systems may be a broad concept. However, when we look at any quality management system globally, especially in North America, ISO 9001. ISO is basically the foundation of all the quality management systems in the world. That's a fact. So having said that, when we look at any quality management system, there are certain requirements for a company to manage their operations. There might be, of course, changes. Would you please mute your microphone, please? Thank you. So when we look at quality management systems, there are requirements. For example, control document management, customer complaint management is another requirement typically. Corrective action management, and we'll talk about corrective action management today, and we'll show you also in action further in the demonstration and this meeting. There is non-conformity management, which is also very important for companies to manage their non-conform products as to how you can document it and how you can manage it and how you can actually retrieve the information that you put together. Audit management, calibration management, these are also some of the important requirements of any quality management system typically. Since we are having crisis due to COVID-19, managing this information, also managing the PPE requirements at any organization becomes more important than before. And having said that, also PPE management is also part of many quality management systems that companies put together. Let's keep in mind that ISO and other standards, they have the framework for a company to put together a quality management system. However, the details of the quality management system is really up to you. It is because you know your job better, you know your profession better. So how are you going to perform an audit management? How are you going to perform a calibration management is really something that actually you can design in detail. So these are basically the frameworks, but the details may differ from company to company. That's why when we look at AISC's website, they are talking about quality management system, but they are not getting into details because that really differs from fabricator to fabricator. You may be processing steel, you may be fabricating steel, but still for a company, that may differ, the details of the operations. So let's keep in mind that goals of any quality management systems are safety, providing safety, getting customer satisfaction. So the goal is to increase customer satisfaction, increase the safety in our work environments and what we are basically offering to our customers as for products and as for our employees, their work environment. Also to make sure there is continuous improvement in place. That's also very, very important when we look at any quality management system. And any of these requirements that we actually fulfill, they need to be documented. That is an important requirement of any quality management system that you follow. So you may have policies, procedures in place as to how you are to, for example, process steel, how you are to fabricate steel, how you are going to package it and ship it to certain construction areas, construction sites, for example. So all these needs to be documented, written, and you need to be able to retrieve it and make it available to team members. And there are ways to do it digitally as well, and we'll show you in a minute. Another thing that I need to mention is that as for quality management systems, ISO provides quality management principles. So these principles basically design our quality management system. So when we look at them, there are actually 7 of them. These are, I call it strong 7, as to be the foundation of any quality management system. So when you are putting together your quality management system, that needs to be customer focused. So customer, we need to put it in the center of our decision-making process. Also, there needs to be the leadership in place. So when we say leadership, any quality manager can actually perform the quality management system, but leadership of the company needs to take charge and also commit to the quality management system in place. And having all these quality management system related requirements also helps you have an environment to make decisions based on evidence. That is why actually we keep the records, because anytime you need to make a decision, you need to make analysis, you can actually retrieve the data and you can make decisions based on basically evidence that you have, based on the data you have. And of course, improvement is also very important. That's what I was talking about as to continuous improvement. So this is basically the summary of what AISC is actually expecting, which is also available on their website. And they are referring to quality management system and safety management system to be in place for a company to be able to certify the audit by AISC for certification. And we'll, from there on, we'll basically focus on how you can actually comply these requirements, especially corrective action as for quality management system. Of course, when we talk quality management system, there are challenges for companies. It's not easy. We talk with many different companies. As I mentioned, we have more than 1,000 customers already. We support them. We work with them closely. So it's not easy. Some of the challenges that we hear from our customers and companies are, for example, as for corrective action, it's difficult to manage it. It is because it requires back and forth data and information. So you may need to perform root cause analysis. You may need to perform, for example, training. But all these tests that you need to actually fulfill, you need to also follow up. So it's really, really difficult for companies to manage this on paper or spreadsheets or Word files or emails. And furthermore, when you get the inspectors on site, it is very difficult to prove that you are actually performing your corrective action. So this is one of the challenges that we keep hearing. Documentation is another problem. Most of the companies think that all the quality management systems in place involve too much paperwork. So as I mentioned, you need to keep records, you need to be able to retrieve it for an evidence-based decision, but it's not easy for most of the time for companies. Also, accessing the data, information from a central repository is also a difficulty for companies. If you're complying on paper, highly likely you have an archive that you need to go pull up your policies, procedures during the operation, or for example, during the inspection or audit coming from AISC, for example. These are major difficulties that we have been hearing and we have been learning from companies in the marketplace when they are complying with any quality management system. Luckily, we are in digital age. So thanks to digital age, there are solutions to those challenges. Now, it's easier to manage audits. It's easier to manage documentation. It's easier to manage corrective actions in a digital environment, and we'll show you in a minute how to do it. So having said that, we put together these proactive quality management framework for companies to be successful when they are actually performing their quality management systems digitally. So the first piece is quality assurance. So that quality assurance actually referring to your quality management system. Maybe you are complying with ISO. Maybe you are complying with another standard as for managing your quality operations. So that is basically the framework as to how you are going to operate your quality management system. Quality management system, assurance system, dictates control. So you need to have control points in your operations. That may be when you are processing the steel, maybe after you process it, maybe when you receive raw materials from your vendors. And let's keep it in mind. When we talk about quality management system, it's not only about manufacturing part of it. So we are not only talking about fabricating steel. If you have, let's say, ISO 9001 in place as a quality management system for you to be certified by AISC, for example, ISO 9001 touches every part of your company except finance and accounting. So from this point of view, if you need to have quality control operations in place, then you may want to have controls maybe for your marketing operations, maybe for your sales operations, maybe also for purchasing operations as well, in addition to fabrication part of the operations, for instance. And the last piece of the proactive framework is Predict. That's basically touching to the smart sensors and IoT devices, which helps you remotely monitor your machinery, equipment, and work environment simply. So we believe applying this framework for companies, it is easier to be actually compliant. Also, that also helps you improve your operations and have a continuous improvement culture in place. So let's talk about corrective action management in a digital environment. Why do we need corrective action? Corrective actions, first of all, helps you improve your processes, increase your customer satisfaction, and also increase your work environment safety, increase the safety of your products and work environment. So for me to take corrective action, I need feedback. I need to know how I am doing, basically, as a company. How am I delivering my products? How am I answering my customers' requests? How am I handling customer complaints if a customer actually requests any investigation for any order that he placed, for example? So there are sources for corrective action. When we look at them, for example, risk assessments is a source for corrective action. Customer complaints are an important source for corrective action. The customer complaint may be internal or external. Internal as in from your team members, external as in from your customers when you sell or deliver your products, for example. You may perform audits internally, and these audits also a source for you to put into consideration for corrective actions. Or you may have external audits, maybe coming from AISC, or you may have someone actually auditing your company outside of your company, for example, as an option. Incidents also a source of corrective actions. When something happens in the organization doing manufacturing, for example, or fabricating steel, for example, near miss, a work accident, God forbid, for example. So all these needs to be documented, and you need to also analyze it, and you need to also put together a lesson learned report, for instance. Based on this report and analysis and investigation, of course, there may be a need for corrective actions to improve processes. Suggestions and surveys also, they are also important sources for corrective action. And luckily, all the quality controls and supply evaluations, all these tests that we have to do to run our quality management system and to be compliant can be operated digitally with no need of paper, which is a great advantage for companies. So having said that, we put together this product called QDMS. We are the creator of it. QDMS is a quality risk audit and compliance management software. We have been developing QDMS since 1998. We have more than 1,000 customers, more than 1 million professional users. So this is designed to help you comply with any quality management system in the marketplace digitally without the need of any paper. QDMS is a modern technology. It is open to communicate with other systems. It can integrate with IoT devices, manufacturing execution systems, CRM systems, ERP systems that you may have. So these options are always on the table for QDMS. It is designed to run standalone. Technically, we don't need another system to run QDMS. However, if you have another software solution in your company, we can also integrate, and they can have an integrated system, so you don't have to double enter the same data. QDMS is designed to help you comply with many different standards. ISO is one of them, ISO 14000 is another of them, and you can comply more than one quality management systems in one QDMS system, which is a great advantage. It is very user-friendly, so once we train you properly, you can run the system by yourself. You don't need any outside consultants. Of course, we support our solution all the time, 24/7. However, after the training, you'll be able to manage all your quality management requirements digitally on QDMS by yourself, which is a great advantage. This is a role-based system, so there are permissions in place. So you decide who can use the system, who can access what part of the system. That is all permission-based, and there is audit trail. So you know who accesses the system, who does what in the system, what kind of actions that they take, and that's reportable and recorded. It has a modular structure, QDMS. So you can pick and choose what module you like. If your challenge is only for corrective action, for example, if you are complying with AISC requirements, for instance, you can just take corrective action module and you can just manage it digitally, for example. If you like to have more than one modules, we welcome it. You can have more than one, or you can start a couple of them. You can increase it later. That's perfectly fine. QDMS is totally modular. The idea is to help you manage your quality management system in a digital environment. So whichever is easy for you, you can have as many modules as you like, and there is no minimum requirement. Great. So we are coming to our demo session in this part of our webinar. What we actually put together is actually scenario that we'll also show you. This is a company called ABC Steel Construction Company. So we'll show you how actually this company can perform corrective actions in a digital environment. We like to show you this scenario on QDMS. In addition, we'll also show you document management module of QDMS. As I mentioned earlier, record keeping and document management, control document management is very important for any QMS system, any quality management system. Also, it's important for AISC compliance and certification. So we'll also show you how you can actually manage your documentation, your policies, procedures, SOPs in a digital environment. That is also very important for you. And finally, we'll show you audit module so that you can see how you can actually perform your internal audits for corrective action purposes, for improvement. So we'll show you all these three modules: corrective action, document management, control document management, and also audit module. Having said that, I'd like to invite my colleague, Sam Watt, to the virtual stage, and he'll be performing the demonstration for you. Let's keep in mind that if you have any questions, please type in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer it during the Q&A session right after the demonstration that Sam will perform. Sam, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please take over the screen when you're ready. Thank you.
Sure. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. And thank you, Kevin, for the presentation. And thank you for joining today's webinar. This is Sam at Bimser International. So this is the home screen after you log into QDMS, our quality risk audit and compliance management system. So you can find all the pending tasks and requests for approval right after you log into QDMS. So it's helped you to make sure you will not miss any important task for complying the requirements of AISC, American Institution of Steel Construction. And QDMS is a permission-based system, which means not everyone can see everything in the in our system. Okay, and since now I'm logging in as the admin, that you can tell from the username on the top right. So I have the full control of QDMS, so that you can see the all the modules that are available in QDMS. Again, your permission of your account will be based on your role, your position, profession, group, or department. And on this home screen, you are more than welcome to click the widget on this home screen and get a quick connection and start proceeding the tasks or the requests that that are sent to your account. Okay. As Kevin mentioned in his presentation, QDMS is a modular system. So you will see all the available modules on your server in this main menu. And today, I will have an overview of Control Document Management module, Corrective Action module, as known as CAPA module, and Audit module in this webinar. And let's get started. First of all, we come to the Control Document Management module, which allows you to upload your specifications, SOP procedures, or training material and any other file type to our management to this management system. And also you can carry out your revision process of your document or managing the folder structure in QDMS. And how we can read the document that we upload in QDMS. Actually, QDMS support, as I mentioned, different file type like a procedure, standards, SOP, specifications, and so on in different file format. For example, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, image, video, or audio. So you don't need any other solution or application to read your document. And instead, the content of your document will be shown in the built-in browser of QDMS. And there is no limit to your document. For example, like the size and also the pages of your document. Here's one of the specification documents that I download from the official website of AISC. So there are over 600 pages of this document, and those will be shown in the built-in browser of QDMS. And you can read the document in this built-in browser or download the document to your local drive. On the top, you can see different tabs, which allows you to find the document information like the version number, the creation date, the approver, and also the controller. With the permission, you can always get back to the previous version of this document. And in QDMS, you can manage the permission of the users and also the groups for this document or folder. And the permission like reading, printing, revising, getting back to the previous version, or delete the document can all be managed in QDMS. You can also find the distribution list, which means who or which group has the obligation to read this document once it is uploaded or update in the system. Besides, there is an approval list that tells you who is the approver or who are the approvers for this document for uploading or revising. If there is any question that's come up to your mind while you're reading the document, you can anytime refer to this approval list and find out who is the approver and get the appropriate or the feedback from the approvers. In this history tape, you can find the audit trail here, and you can see who did what in our system, and especially in this module. All the activities, date and time, and the username will be recorded in the log of QDMS, and you can anytime refer to this audit trail and see who did what on what day in our system. Okay. So this is how we can read our document, and with using this control document management module, again, you can upload a new document, start the revision process, or manage the folder structure in QDMS. And in every module in QDMS, there is a reporting tool which allows you to create a ready-made report in QDMS. For example, this is the document status report, and you can put the condition before you're generating your report. For example, I want to see how many what document they are under the revision process. Then I can put my condition right here on this page and start the searching. QDMS will show you all the documents that fit the condition that you set and showed it in a report, and anytime you can export your report into Excel or PDF file format for sharing with any responsible parties. And next, I want to show you is the corrective action module, which allows you to manage the non-conformity, root cause analyze, and also your corrective actions for complying with the requirements of AISC. In this module, you can find all the corrective action record that you have in QDMS. And of course, you can create a new record. And on this page, you can pick and choose the corrective action source. For example, like it's coming from a quality control, and also pick and choose the department. Let's say it is from manufacturing. And then if you have multiple locations of your company, then you can pick and choose the location and enter the non-conformity right here as well. So let's say we are going to file a new record with the out of spec product, and the quality does not meet the customer requirement as the detail of the non-conformity. And we can also pick and choose the non-conformity category. One thing I want to mention here is what I'm showing is an approach, or is the process that we have on our demo environment. It might not the best fit to your company, like how to handling non-conformity and also corrective action in your company, but keep in mind, we can always update the workflow and also the fields that you can see on this page in order to fit with your company operations regarding the non-conformity and also the corrective action management. And after that, we can assign this corrective action to a responsible team, which I'm going to pick myself, who is in the my account, who is in the quality department. Okay, so that I will pick and choose myself. And then if there's any document or photo that you want to attach along with this corrective action module, corrective action record, you're more than welcome to do so. For example, I want to attach the photo of the out of spec product. Then upload this, and this attachment will be connected to this corrective action record. After that, we can send this out, and this request will be sent to the approval flow and opened in the corrective action module. So as a responsible person of this corrective action record, I can always find the corrective action that we just create right on my home screen. So that right here, I have a record. This is the one we just create, and I have to file the first progress report. In order to file the first progress report, this open text field, and then in order to smoothen our demonstration, I'm going to copy and paste what I have here in a Word document and paste on this, paste it here as the first progress report. Furthermore, if you want to invite some more users as a team member of this corrective action record, you can add the username from the employee list that we have in QDMS. After filing the first progress report, then we have to do our root cause analyze and enter the root cause in this associated with this corrective action record. For example, after our like 5Y, so we 5Y analyze, so we found out that lack of training procedure is one of the root cause. Then we want to add this as a root cause for this corrective action record. And also we want to add the lack of resource request procedure. And also one more is lack of the the quality control after production. Okay, so those, now we have those root cause or root causes recorded in this corrective action record. So after that, we want to carry out certain corrective or preventive action in order to deal with the root cause that we have for this corrective action record. So now we can create a new corrective action and pick and choose the action performer. For example, I want to have Carol to perform the action. And right here, we can provide more information as a reference for Carol. So we want Carol to put together the training policies and also the training procedures and also the training plan, and set up a due date for Carol. And if Carol doesn't finish her task or this action with the before the due date, then the system will automatically escalate this action to her manager. And right here, we can pick and choose the root cause that we are dealing with. For example, all of those, and connect those root cause to this action. Furthermore, we can add the attachment, for example, like the root cause analyze report, and also the test result as a reference for Carol. So we can pick and choose from our local drive and attach those documents to this corrective action. So now we can save this action, and this action will be sent to Carol. So what I will do now is I'm going to switch my account to Carol's or as Carol. So I'm doing like this and connect QDMS. So as Carol right here that you can see, now I'm logging in as Carol. I can find my task right on my home screen again and get a quick connection and update the status of those actions that we just create. So right here, we have a corrective action is waiting for us to perform. And this is the one we just created. Remember, the due date is June 25th. So we can get a quick connection and update the record right here. So either we can update the status of this record as performed, or we can request for postpone, like an extension on the due date. So considering now we perform certain action, like put together all those tasks, and we want to attach like the policy and the procedure and also the plan, so that we can update our documents right here and attach those from our local drive and save this action in QDMS. So now this record has been sent back to the solution team leader for approval. So now I will switch my account back to the admin, like the team leader. So I can find that approval request on my home screen, which again, it is a very good features, and make sure all the record that you have in the system will not be missed in order to comply with the requirements of AISC. So now we have a record is waiting us to is going to be closed, since we have carried out certain corrective action, and it is now available here. So right here, before we close the corrective action record, actually we can define another action and assign this to another action performer in order to deal with the root cause, or we can create a follow-up action. For example, we want to make sure this non-conformity will not happen in our company again for coming 3 months, let's say, so that we can add a new follow-up action and pick and choose the responsible person for this follow-up action. So in this case, I'm going to choose myself and set up a due date, which means 3 months, which will be September, excuse me, today date is 11th, so which will be September 11th. So we can put together like the follow-up description, like the information for the action performer. So let's say we want to have drill is needed, and make sure the non-conformity will not happen again in coming 3 months. Okay, so now we can update this follow-up action, and this follow-up action will be sent to the responsible person. So as I'm the responsible person, and I can find the follow-up action right on my home screen. So this is the follow-up action we just created. So considering like 3 months have passed, so now there's no other, we do not have the same non-conformity happened in our company, so that we can have our follow-up report like performed the drill. Okay, and the same, I would say, NC non-conformity has not happened again. Okay, so we can also attach some documents, for example, the follow-up action drill, and also like the picture of the drill, so that we can upload right here, and then send this to the responsible person for approval. So this is how we can manage the non-conformity, corrective actions, and also the root cause analyze in QDMS with using the corrective action module, as known as CAPA. So now I want to show you is the reporting tool right here. As I mentioned before, like you're more than welcome to use the reporting tool to create the ready-made report. Also, you can find the graphical reporting tool here, which allows you to set up some condition and show all the data that we have in QDMS in a graph. What you will see on your left is you can put some condition in this for your graphical report. For example, you want to see which department handle the most corrective action in the company. And then we can draw our graph. And all the data will be shown in a bar chart and also in a table, which allows you to have your analysis of the performance of the company and also the KPI of your company. You can always export your report into Excel, PDF, image for sharing with any responsible party with using the reporting tool in QDMS. At last, I want to show you is the audit module. With the help of QDMS, you are ready to have your audit operations every day and anywhere with the internet connection. So in QDMS, you can create your audit plan, considering like the plan is the goal that you want to achieve. And I'm going to pull this out on your screen. Okay. To do this again, audit plan. So, and after creating the audit plan, so you can create the audit items. And the audit items is the objectives that help you to achieve the goal. And what you will see is all the audit plan on your screen. And you can use this module for auditing your employee, of course, and also for auditing your vendor, supplier, or subcontractor. So right here, excuse me, I'm going to refresh my page and show this right on your screen. Okay, there we go. And this audit plan that we have, for example, like the internal audit plan. So we can create our audit item. As I mentioned, the plan is the goal that we want to achieve. And then we can create our item. For example, we want to have an internal audit, and then we are supposed to carry out the audit for different departments. So right here, we can create our audit for different departments, like sales department or manufacturing department, for example, and also like the shipping department. So what you can do here is you can set up the start date and end date, and also the audit time, and who will be the auditor and the auditee. So those receive, or those who are invited to as an auditee will receive a notification on his or her home screen. And one more useful feature in this module is you can always attach the question that we have in the system as a reference for the auditor, which means you do not have to prepare 5 pages of paper for auditing one employee, considering like we have 20 employees in each department. So for auditing one department, there will be 100 pages for this audit item. Okay, and instead we can choose the reference question for the auditor, and the auditor can record the answer from the auditee in our system. As Kevin always mentioned, paper is not free. So you have to pay for first of all, the paper, and also the ink, and also the space for storing your paper. So QDMS helps you to do to have your operations of your company in a paperless and digital environment. Okay. So this is how we can use QDMS on our web browser. And as Kevin mentioned, we have mobile application available for QDMS. So you can download QDMS for your Android device or iOS device, so that you can use QDMS mobile on your smartphone and also on your tablet. So right here, I'm going to pull up to the screen is my Android smartphone. So I can run QDMS on my smartphone, which I'm going to show you here. Excuse me, I'm connecting to it. Okay, there we go. This is my my cell phone, and I can find the same notification right after I log in to the mobile application, and also find the same main menu on the left. Okay. So right here, we can manage QDMS, for example, like the document management module, or managing our corrective action record, as known as the COPA record, and also like the audit item right on your handheld device, anywhere and anytime with the internet connection. It's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam, for the demonstration. Much appreciated. Now, we come to the Q&A session of our webinar, and we like to address questions at this time. I have been receiving some messages via the chat box, so I'll be addressing those questions. In the meantime, anything comes to your mind, feel free to type in the chat box, so we can address them here during this Q&A session. So one of the questions is that, let me see from the list. We have multiple locations, and we have different QDMS requirements for different locations. Do I need different QDMS for it, or I can just use one QDMS to comply with different standards in different locations? So the answer is basically once we make QDMS software available for you, you can manage different quality management systems based on your locations. So if you have one location, for example, complying with ISO 9001, another one complying with ISO 14000, for example, and you can still be compliant with AISC standards, by the way. So you can just manage it in one environment. You don't have to buy a couple of different QDMS versions just to manage different versions of your quality management system. So one system is gonna be basically helpful for you to manage your quality management system digitally. Another question is QDMS able to work on cloud? So yes, so QDMS works on cloud as well as on-premise servers. So when we are deploying QDMS, we basically ask you, where would you like it to be? You would like it to be on cloud environment, you would like it to be on-premise environment. So you let us know, and we basically install it there. And once we install it, it is a web-based system. And just like Sam was demonstrating, you just need a web browser, nothing special. Once we make it available for you, wherever you are, you just get into Internet Explorer or Google Chrome or Mozilla, whichever you are using. You basically log in the system via your web browser. It's that simple. So it's a web-based system you can access from anytime, anywhere. Let's see. Is there a minimum module requirement to get QDMS? There is no minimum requirement. You can get one module. Let's say Sam just demonstrated, for example, corrective action, document management, and audit management module. You can just say corrective module if you like. We have that's perfectly fine. And also, if you like to have more than that, or if you like to add later on, that's also perfectly fine. So there is no minimum requirements as for that, because I know some companies, they have their priority is corrective action management. That we understand. So that's that makes sense for them to have just corrective action module, which is an option for you available. Is there a module available to manage personal protective equipment? Yes. So yes, you're right. So I mentioned PPE management, personal protective equipment management, earlier in the slides about QMS requirements. So PPE management is also available in QDMS. So what it does is basically helps you put together a program for PPE management, and then you basically assign the PPE, for example, masks, helmets, or let's say gloves and boots and so on. You can assign those PPEs to team members, and the system basically keeps record of it, and also it reminds you when the time comes to renew the equipment. For example, sometimes you may need to use equipment on daily basis. Masks, highly likely, in COVID-19 times that we're in right now, you use it on a daily basis. So you may dispose it and you may need another one the next day. So all these can be managed in the system. Also, you may have other equipment that you need to renew quarterly, maybe monthly, or maybe annually. So those records can be managed in QDMS, and it has reminders and notifications as part of it. Let me see the list of the questions that I have been getting. Another question is about pricing. So pricing related questions, as you see, we have our email address on the screen. Please just send us an email. Let's schedule a one-to-one meeting, and we can talk about pricing. But as a general knowledge, our pricing is based on modules. So it depends on what module you pick and choose. That is what we charge for, basically. So the more modules you get, the more charge will be. But it's really up to you how many modules you have. That's basically general rule, I would say. Let's see if there's another questions I address to this one. Yeah, it looks like I addressed all the questions. There is a question about mobile application availability. As Sam demonstrated, there is a mobile app available. That's a native mobile app. You can download it from Android Play Store or Apple's Play Store, for example. You can download it there, and you can basically do the configuration, and you can use it remotely wherever you are. So that's a pretty practical solution. Okay, it looks like we addressed all the questions. Good questions. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'd like to thank you for your time. And before we end the session, I'd like to remind you again that we have a YouTube channel. These webinars and previous webinars that we have, we record them and we post them on our YouTube channel in the playlist called Webinar Recordings. So if you like to visit our YouTube channel and if you like to watch previous recordings, you are more than welcome. We welcome it. You can also share it with with your team members, and you can watch whenever you like. They are available on our YouTube channel called Bimser International YouTube channel. Also, in coming weeks, we'll be talking more about digitization, digital compliance, or customer complaint management, waste management, risk management, which is also a very popular subject nowadays. Suppliers evaluations and all this digitally, we'll be talking about it also in coming weeks. Calibration management, preventive maintenance is another important subject nowadays that we have been focusing. Root cause analysis is also another important subject. So we demonstrated corrective action management. That is the root cause analysis part, which is very detailed, called root cause analysis. How you are going to actually analyze the situation that you're actually in. How you're going to define the problem. How you're going to gather solutions. Which one you're going to pick as the best solution among those options. So we'll be also talking about it in coming weeks as well. So we welcome you. We invite you to our Eventbrite page. Please review the list of our available webinars, and please register those that you are interested. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to continue this conversation, if you'd like to schedule one-to-one meeting, please just send us an email, and we'll talk further. We'll address your questions. We'll go more in detail of QDMS based on your challenges. So we are looking forward to talking to you in coming days and coming weeks as well. And we are looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinars. I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest, and thank you for these great questions. Much appreciated. We are looking forward to seeing you soon in coming webinar sessions. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.